Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's Sybil and How He Makes Me Laugh. Some of us are here, some of us are outside playing, but that's okay. These days don't last forever. Hello, Med, who makes me laugh. How are you?
Hey, Sybil, how you doing? I'm doing excellent. Thank you so much for asking. Cameron?
Hello, Cameron. How are you today? And folks who are
I'm
listening
well.
can't see you nodding.
I'm doing very well. Doing very well. Hope everyone's doing well. It's hot out here today. People just trying to get out and get it in while they can.
And
Yeah.
you decided to take it on inside. You didn't stay outside and play today, like
No,
Damon.
no. I've got work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think those are what they call personal days for some folks.
I need to start taking them. I need to start taking them.
Oh,
I don't know if those of us in radio can claim personal
It's
days.
so weird. I'm not built to take personal days. I just don't. I
I
just
know.
the radio days have burned me
Yeah.
in taking personal days because I always feel like then who's gonna do it?
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
such a
And trust
such
and
a.
believe they'll find somebody else to do it.
No,
And the
don't find
next
somebody
thing
else.
you,
But boy, they put that guilt trip on you.
yeah.
Oh,
Man, sure could use you today. Ooh.
man. Woo.
Wow. Today, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm,
All right. Okay.
And when you hold on,
Cameron.
and then when you do mornings, the funniest thing about mornings is like Winky, I feel sick at 3 a.m. Who you
Right.
telling at 3 a.m. you're not feeling good? I ain't coming in today.
gotta make that call.
Or I used to think if I don't feel well, and unless I had something that I felt was contagious, and I didn't have that, that by the time I got off the air, I'd have the rest of my day. So it wasn't
Right.
as if
Mhm.
it was just congested. Cameron, can I suggest? I don't think Yolanda did this, but you look a little dark.
I feel
Yeah, my
really
room is
The
doesn't have
lighting
the
is
best lighting in
okay.
the world.
turn your
Okay,
body like this. Just a
just a
no.
skosh to the
Other way. There he is.
yeah,
There he
Yeah,
yeah.
is.
I
I
mean
see the
That's
that's
left
just
eye.
awkward for me to sit.
I
I'm
see the
so
left
sorry.
eye. I see the
That's
left
better
eye.
Yeah.
though. I mean, and you were all, I mean, it was almost difficult to distinguish the features on your face, such as
Yeah.
your lovely eyes and your
Oh, well,
beard and
thank
all
you.
of that.
But
Yeah.
this is just awkward for me to sit.
It's okay.
Okay.
I'll figure something out.
It's all
Okay.
good. It's all good.
All
We know
right.
you're there.
Yeah. Right.
If it's too awkward for you, then we understand. People, Cameron is a handsome man, and you're just not gonna see it today. So, uh,
I'm trying, trying my
there you go.
best.
You have
Oh,
to zoom in, baby.
did not ask for the spotlight. All right.
Cameron's like, come on, let's keep it going.
Let's get this show on the road, shall we?
Talked about
Cameron's
Okay.
like,
time on our
come on,
last call,
newsletter, right?
and
Newsletter, come on.
here we are.
So let's talk a little bit about some things that have happened. Obviously, we're going to talk about the biggest change that took place, and it doesn't really directly affect us as everyday Americans, and that will soon be proven out. The wheels of governance will continue to roll as the it's a historical day. Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy was ousted. The first time this has ever happened. Not that a vote was taken. A vote was taken over 100 years ago, but that speaker was not
You're
voted
right.
out of the House. This was historic in that not only was the vote taken, but he was voted out and voted out by his own.
What?
You didn't know this?
Really?
You didn't see this?
No.
It just happened about an hour or so ago, a couple hours ago.
What?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. This is
I
why we're
mean,
here. This is
I
why we're
don't
here,
feel
Cameron.
bad for him, but also like, I mean, come on.
But you knew that it was coming, right? You knew that a vote was going to be taken, right?
Yeah, I knew that like the radical right had conspired, and I knew that a vote was going to be taken, but I didn't think that just like the grapes of wrath like had it in them.
Right, right,
I know that they
right,
had the support either.
right.
No, the
But
Democrats were not saving him. The Democrats didn't even try to save him, and they let it ride.
yeah,
My only
I
question is
mean, come
No, hold on to
on.
your
okay,
question. Hold on to
okay,
your
okay,
question. because
Okay.
we need to move on to Cameron's story.
I'm sorry.
And that's okay. That's okay. We will. I promise we will obviously return to this. And so we are going to talk about the What You Need to Know newsletter first. This is our Monday through Friday newsletter. We put it together 5 days a week, and its purpose is to super serve the African American community, stories by and for African Americans. And so Cameron is talking in the current newsletter about the student loan repayment wheel train is now back in full effect.
Yeah,
As
here it
of
comes.
October 1st, things started moving back. And so, what was it, Cameron? 3 years that people who owed student loans were a part of that pandemic pause. So
It was a
tell
good
us,
3 years. Yeah.
tell us more.
Yeah. Sally Mae and Uncle Sam are back to take their pound of flesh every month. After the 3 year long pandemic pause, and despite Joe Biden trying what most people would say his darndest to wipe out student debt completely, getting blocked by Republicans, weighing in from the Supreme Court, and just, public unrest about our relationship to student loan debt. We know that a recent study shows that most of the student debt across the country, trillions of dollars of it, is held disproportionately by Black women, and so this, and so this, and so the return of student loan debt, especially in this inflationary time, these economic uncertain times, is just going to hit us a lot harder than everybody else. People are reporting reconsidering making lifestyle purchases, like trying to purchase better houses. People having decided whether or not to pay bills, or just live better quality of life, because the student loan payments are, quite frankly, ridiculous.
Mhm.
The people have gone so far as to organize behind a student debt strike, just refusing to make payments altogether
I've
because
done
of their
that before.
dissatisfaction.
Have you?
Yeah, yeah, and it didn't do anything.
Uh,
Just
did, did, did
I
it?
believe that's
got a lot
called
of phone calls.
default.
Got a lot of phone calls and emails.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
and so those of you out there who, like myself, are just afraid of even looking at your student payment portal, you the the student loan agencies are
Yeah, man, look at it.
willing to give borrowers a sort of a grace period
Hmm.
um, for a year to make payments of $0, but those interest rates are still going to go up. And Sybil,
Accruing.
check this: interest rates started accruing last month, so they
September. Yeah.
negotiated a head start in interest rate accruals.
Wow. Wow.
Um, uh, so 45 million borrowers did get $10,000 of their loans forgiven. Others have had their payments reduced. And if you check your emails from the federal government, they do have a few plans in place. One is called the SAVE plan, which adjusts your payments via your income.
Hmm.
And if you work in certain jobs, you can have your payments wiped off completely if you make a certain number of payments over a certain number of years.
Now
I'm
that's an
not,
interesting payment plan because for a long time, Cameron, the people were promised this. They went into the
and they didn't
program
get it.
and
Yeah.
they did not get it, right? And so have they
Yeah.
corrected that?
Yeah. So they have corrected giving people who have worked in like I forgot what the program's
Military
called.
and
Yeah, it's
charitable
like military, civil
programs.
service. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have negotiated the wiping out of their student loan debt, but there are quite a few of us out here who still have to repay back those loans. It is going to be a rough time for sure.
And who's paying the greatest price? Who's most affected by this, Cameron?
Yeah, I mean we are Black women, black people, and even those who have defaulted previously. Biden was trying to implement something where people who had defaulted accounts those accounts would return to good standing. There are a lot of people out here just flailing in the water right now. It's just not a good
Hmm.
look.
Yeah, it's not. And I can't suggest that you you do your own personal strike against the government or against
Yeah, not recommending that.
whoever is in charge of these loans. That won't solve anything. It's not like it's kind of like we're going to strike against the gas stations for a day. Okay, so we're not going to buy gas this day, but tomorrow when I need, then but you'll feel it. No, no, they really won't. But
No.
we will feel it in the long run. I got to tell you, I've had a couple of friends who have had their loans forgiven,
Oh,
and
okay.
one person went on to get her professional degree, and was the weight that was lifted from her shoulders was just incredible.
Yeah.
Just from her describing it, and just what a tremendous weight this was lifted from her. And then she's paying for her child. One child is still in high school, but one in college, and one in high school, and paying for all that goes along with being a single mom. So you can imagine
Mhm.
what that did for her and her sense of spirit. And another that I do know also had his loan forgiven. So I'm very happy for my friends. And I can appreciate the fact that some people are not so lucky. And
Yeah.
but I do highly recommend that you look into those services. I've heard them advertised. I don't know, and I've heard people say good things about them. Um, but I can't recommend them because I don't have anything to go upon really. But there are services that can help you restructure and rework your loans to make it more beneficial for you, or not as a deep burden for you as you are carrying now. And so um, I know that we're talking about second generation, and in some cases third generation loans. You have a mother, you have a daughter, and then you have a granddaughter who are all carrying student loan debt. That's that's just incalculable, that how deep and how heavy that is. So thanks for bringing that to our attention, Cameron. And of course, as you mentioned, black folks carrying the greatest debt of all of
Mhm.
this. And I remember having an encounter with someone in an airport and talking about, you people don't want to pay off your student debt. That's not true.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. It's not.
we
Yeah.
we've taken out the loans. We understand what our responsibilities are. It's just in this day and time, with inflation, with our losing jobs and getting jobs and losing jobs again, it's just a debt that we didn't calculate, and we could not possibly imagine that we're going, or if you're carrying the debt for a spouse as well as yourself. These are debts that we just weren't. And certainly the debt that you're carrying now, Cameron, no, it's nothing. What I had is nothing compared to what you are carrying.
Yeah. And like, why would you? Why wouldn't anyone want someone to have a better quality of life overall?
I pay for my kids to go to school. Well, you're
That's
you're a
good for
good
you.
person. Yeah,
Yeah. Good for
Good
you.
for you. All right,
right.
and look
Yeah.
here. Look here. I
But
just I just logged into mine just to see, maybe it's hoping, because Sybil was talking about all the people that got forgiven. I'm like, you know what? I haven't looked at mine in a while. Maybe I got forgiven. I
did
didn't.
you?
I did.
Oh,
I didn't get forgiven. But it's still that $4,800 is left, which isn't bad. You
that's
Yeah.
know,
It's not bad.
yeah.
which is not bad. And I knew I was almost there, but that's why I was really hoping on
Hoping.
Biden, because
Hoping
Biden
for
was about
Yeah.
to
that
wipe me.
10K. You know.
Yeah, Biden was about to wipe me out. I was like, yes, done. And I was like, can I keep the other 5,000? But but my payment, I see that it's not high. It's what, $70. I can do that.
Okay.
So I'll probably, if I follow this and just pay the $70, I'll be paid off in about 10 years.
That's like a that's like a good night at Red Lobster for you, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
real
Yeah. There
good,
you go.
real good night.
Yeah.
That's three. No, that's four all you can eat shrimps. That's four all you can eat shrimps.
Okay. Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
I like that. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. I can do that. I think we'll see.
Okay.
Or I
Okay.
might call them and say, hey, you know what? What else can you do for me?
Right.
Yeah. Why not? My mom had her debt wiped out.
She
Good for
did.
her.
She did.
That's
Yeah. Yeah. She
awesome.
did. And
I've
I
had a
mean,
couple friends too. Not me. Not me though.
yeah, it means the world to us because like we take care of my grandma, take care of my
Yeah.
aunt, take care of my cousin, and so that financial weight really just gives us like a little bit of breathing room. So
Sure. Yeah.
yeah,
That's awesome.
but
Congratulations to your mom and to your family. That's great to hear. I
yeah,
love these stories. I love to hear about them. So, and if you have, if you're those of you who are watching or listening, if you want to share with us that you have had your debt forgiven, we'd love to hear from you and celebrate that with you as well. It
Oh,
is it is a moment of celebration, and so yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
Michelle was asking. The interest is 5.375. Is that good?
Oh,
High?
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
high.
that's good.
Oh,
That's
that's
good.
good.
What's the interest in that $70
Yeah,
a month? Yeah, that's well, if you can consider that,
that's
what
good.
the national interest that they've been compiling,
Uh-huh.
they were like 9%, and so that's 5% is definitely better, and a lot of people on their mortgages are paying a considerable amount of interest now.
Hmm.
So your student loan debt, the interest there is pretty low.
Okay, cool. All right,
Yeah.
like I said,
All
10
right,
years.
yeah.
I'm
Financial analyst Sybil. All right.
yeah, yeah. No, I look here now. They're getting the minimum every month. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're good. Let's go
But
ahead.
here's the other thing when and this is what I had to tell a college student that I know. When you do better, when your salary rises and increases, uh, try to let your paying off your debt increase as well. Don't forget
Mm,
about your
Right.
savings because it's really important that you save.
mhm.
But as you are also improving in your status in terms of salary, also increase, and you can get rid of that debt a little bit quicker, and then you can really have some fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no debt.
You can
Let's
have
go.
5 all-you-can-eat shrimp dinners at
Five of them, all of them.
at one
The-
time.
no, you can have the all you can eat shrimp and then the all you can eat crab legs on Tuesdays
Come on, come
All right.
on.
Yeah, that's real
at the
fun right
same
there.
time. Are you waiting for the extra shrimp? You're cracking. You're cracking while you're waiting for the extra shrimp.
That's so funny. Yeah,
Keep
it's
you
so
busy.
funny to me. One of the other stories that we talked about in the newsletter was another first for uh, the United States Senate.
Yeah.
California Governor Gavin Newsom nominated a black gay woman to sit in the seat that was just recently vacated in the death of Dianne Feinstein. Her name is LaFonza Butler. She is or was the president of Emily's List. She was the first Black woman to be the president of that organization, which was designed to help Black Democratic women with pro-choice leanings in their races, in their political races. And she has a long history in the union as well in California. She was there for home health care workers and a part of that union. And she's also a HBCU graduate. She went to Jackson State, born and raised in Mississippi. So it's kind of like good news, bad news, because uh, when the governor did appoint people before, and he had to appoint someone to take Kamala Harris's place when she became vice president, it was with the understanding that the person would not run for office because there were already
Hmm.
people who were probably lined up to do that. There are for sure several people who are lined up to run for Dianne Feinstein because she announced, even though she was being pushed out of the Senate, she announced that she was not going to run for reelection next year. Unfortunately, her demise happened last week. So, as she made this announcement, Adam Schiff, one of the leaders of the United States Congress, came in and said that he was running. Also, let's see, Katie Porter, who is a progressive in the United States Congress, and Barbara Lee, a Black woman who is also
Uh-huh.
very progressive in the United States Congress, all announced their intentions. So here's the deal: he did not put the stipulation on LaFonza Butler, so she can run, and she's got all of the things that she needs to make a successful run. She's got connections. She was an advisor to Kamala Harris. She has union backing, and she has also Emily's List on her side. So
Yeah.
these are three big things that she will have going for her. Unfortunately, as great of a legislator as Barbara Lee is, she doesn't have the money backing her, and so she
Hmm.
is far behind in fundraising for this particular and in the state of California, it's going to take a lot of money for you to
Yeah.
do this. A strong member of the Congress like Adam Schiff, and he is was big on fundraising as a congressman, certainly as a United States Senate, he's taken it up a notch. And Katie Porter has a lot of a lot of progressives rather on her side. And Barbara Lee is, and I get emails all the time saying, can you just give us $5 and can you do, so much, and perhaps, think about a monthly donation to support her, because it's becoming less and less likely that she's going to be able to keep up with these other heavy hitters. So adding a Black woman to this is going to make it even more difficult. You can't say we got to support the Black woman. Which Black woman we gonna support? It's one of those crazy things, and you can't help, say if LaFonza Butler, if that hasn't been put on her and she, she gets in there, she's feeling good and thinks she can do this job for the long run, then more power to her. But I still have some feelings about this and what they've done. And the Congressional Black Caucus they asked him nicely, please appoint Barbara Lee to this position. And he went in a different direction.
Drama.
Yeah, exactly. So those are the things that we're talking about in the What You Need to Know newsletter. Please go to SybilWilkes.com to subscribe. We'd love to have you, and it is absolutely free. And we'll have it in your email box every Monday through Friday morning, with politics from Khameron, as well as social justice from Coy Malone. Cameron's younger sister is Quinn Townsend Riley, and she talks about the LGBTQ issues as well as mental health and wellness with April Russell. So thank you very kindly, and let us move on to what's really going on. This question can be kind of fun, and it might trigger you. I'm not sure how you guys feel about this. But if it's not today, it's soon, or maybe we've missed it, but it is National Mean Girls Day. So I'm not asking who is the
Great
mean
movie.
girl. Yeah. And I did not like that movie.
Really?
I even as a movie, I just thought that it was suggested, maybe it triggered back for me.
Sure.
But I want to know, who was the bully when you were growing up? And if you say there was none, then tag, you may be it. We'd like to hear from the folks who felt as though they were bullied. And I will tell you why I thought about this. We talked a little bit earlier about, on another show, talked about the little Black girl who was ignored by the judges in the medal ceremony in the Irish gymnastics program over a year ago. The video we've all seen, right? And so was that not that woman who ignored this little girl? Was she not a bully? And should not those children, other children, I would like to think that if my child had been there, that she would have spoken up, in that case, if I had a little white girl, that she would have spoken up on behalf of this Black child, or vice versa, that, the other girls would have spoken up on her behalf.
White privilege, young lady.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly right, man. And so the second part of this story has to do with this question has to do with the story about the girl named Meatball. You remember that we did last week, the girl who videotaped all of the looting in Philadelphia, goes by the name Meatball.
Yeah.
I read comments of stories like this. And so on social media, someone posted, "This girl was a terror for me growing up, and I'm glad to see that she's gotten her comeuppance."
Oh, wow.
She was the bully
That's tough.
in this woman's life. And so she said whatever happens to her, she deserves. So you never know how people are going to come back, and how these things that, what's done in the dark will come to the light, right?
You know, the funny thing is, Sybil, where I thought you were going with this, I thought you were going to talk about Terrell Owens. Talking about all the black girls that bullied him for being ugly.
Yeah,
and that's why he's dating white women.
Nothing but that's real. That's real. I mean,
the bullying trauma is pervasive like that.
The bullying trauma is real. Yeah.
Right.
And Terrell Owens, has his way of dealing with it by dating.
Yeah. They treated me right. He said they weren't mean to me.
Right. And Dennis Rodman has said the same thing.
Yeah, I've heard it, but
I get it.
I thought that's where you were going with it. I'm just like, didn't want to bring up Terrell being bullied by black women.
And I don't think that I don't know if they bullied him so much. He may have felt bullied. And if you felt bullied, Terrell, then, shame on you. But he may have been ignored and thought that was bullying.
Right.
Certainly. Yeah.
So it's like, he's got enough other issues.
Yes.
Kind of push them away from. So asking again, and kind of a cornucopia of questions here, I realize. But who was the bully when you were growing up? If it was you, how did you change, or have you changed? And secondly, what do you think about these instances of the Irish gymnastics team and the bullying, adult bullying of a child by this woman whoever she is? I do hope they find her and get some recompense for this. And lastly, what do you think about a person that bullied you as a child and now being punished for her deeds that she has done most recently? So let's start. So go ahead, man.
So it's very interesting because I'm a big guy. So
were you always a big kid?
Yes, I'm always big, but I never really got bullied. When I was smaller, when I was younger, there was a kid that was actually my next door neighbor, and we were in a townhouse, so he shared a wall. Parents were amazing. He terrorized the neighborhood. It was a neighborhood full of kids. Javier, woo, big dude. He's bigger than me. And then had a mean punch. You know what I'm saying? But that was like 8, 9, 10. But it was just like, here comes Javi. And then sometimes he'd be nice, but then other days he'd be like, hey, give me that. You know what I'm saying? To be real weird situations, and that was like the only bully that I remember. But then it was kind of funny. In 7th and 8th grade, there was a young guy. I went to a private school. And I was like the only black kid in the class, and it had nothing to do with race though. But Randy, did not like me. He did not like me at all. And I don't know if it was because we talked to the same girl or whatever. No, not me talking to the same girl. I was just nice to her. You know what I'm saying? I was just nice to her. I don't think I wanted her, but I was nice to her, and he did not like that. The funny thing about it is I didn't know he was bullying me because
he was just bad at it.
I didn't think nothing of him. But it was literally maybe 5 years ago. He reached out to me on Facebook and apologized. I'm like, what are you apologizing for? He's like, man, I just treated you so wrong and da-da-da-da. I said to him, I'm like, Randy, I appreciate it, but I don't even remember what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? He's just like, he goes, look, man, I just need to apologize because it's been on my heart, blah, blah, blah. He died a year later. And and it was, I don't know if he knew he was sick or anything like that, but it was just a very weird situation where he reached out to me and apologized for things that I didn't need an apology from him for. So I didn't even know it was that bad. I really didn't. He wasn't a terror to me. He was just like, I knew he was just angry at everything, like the way he was raised. He was just an angry kid. So I didn't take it personally when he would he did it to everybody.
Were you as friendly and outgoing then as you are now?
Absolutely. I've always been like this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
That is so cool.
Yeah. So no, it's like it's like if I've never really had problems with people.
Yeah. Did you ever protect people who were being bullied?
I never really saw it. Like, to be honest with you, it would you wouldn't see it around me.
Well, if you didn't see it on yourself, then you may not have seen it enough.
Exactly. But the thing is,
Javier.
I think, Javier, he was just bigger than me at the time. There's nothing really you could have done about that. But I think with Randy, I think that was another reason he didn't like me, because I kind of stood up to him.
Feed into it. Yeah.
I didn't care. He didn't scare me. He didn't bother me. I'm just like, oh, I don't know what yours is, but you'd be all right. Just calm down and get out my face. So, that was, so I never had a problem with people.
What about you, Khameron? Growing up in your family and in your neighborhood, were there bullies at school or in the hood?
Oh yeah, I mean, plenty of bullies at school. I was bullied a lot as a kid. Bullied a lot in high school. Not too much in college. It's just something that I just had to deal with.
What was it, Khameron? What
was the nature of the bullying?
Yeah, no, I mean, the reason why I asked is because, like I said, I've never really dealt with it other than the physical nature of just somebody being angry. You know what I'm saying? But I never understood bullying. Honestly, I've never understood picking on somebody just because. It made no sense to me whatsoever.
It comes from another insecurity within themselves.
Truly.
Was it because you were smart? You know what I'm saying? Were you smaller than them?
I mean,
like what?
My
like,
sisters
I don't know.
my sisters and I were just like, smart, eccentric, like light-skinned kids, and that's just like a recipe for disaster.
Okay.
Coming from like the south side of Chicago. Same thing in high school. Smart kids set themselves up apart. Except in high school, like girls started to like me, and so like the hooder guys just didn't like that very much. Especially considering that I didn't play sports very well either. And in 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 college, people were just settling into their adult personalities, and they were like, okay, I'm just going to be a butt for a living, and so that's what they were. I ran into one of my old bullies the other day at a work event. His name was.
Do you guys work in the same place now?
So kind of. I service a neighborhood, and he works for an organization in that neighborhood.
Wow.
And he was striking up a conversation with me, and I was like, yeah, I know who this guy is. This guy doesn't know me. But after a while,
he didn't recognize you.
No. But after a while, he had got the sense. It was like, I think I know you're from somewhere. And I was like, yep. And he was like, oh, I used to bully you back at Skinner, didn't I? And I was like,
wow.
You did. And he was like, hey man, I'm sorry. Like, I'm working for the community now. I serve the youth. Made dedicated efforts to turn my life around. Ooh. And I'm like, man, that's cool. That's really great to see. And then I didn't take the opportunity to like lay into him or anything like that. I was just gonna walk away, but I was glad that karma did its due, and now he's serving like a bunch of youth and teaching them how to be just like better agents of
better human beings.
Yeah, and like a lot of bullies. There are a few that are doing like really well. Like there's this one guy, infamous bully, ruthlessly charismatic and very handsome, but was just a butt. He's got a couple Netflix documentaries out. Chancellor Bennett was also like a notorious.
Chance the Rapper was a bully?
Yeah, and he'll admit it. I mean, yeah, like he was just a terror. Just an absolute butt. Yeah. Yep.
I'm gonna highlight this one right here.
Okay.
Yeah. And another one of my friends who was also a bully is ironically like a very lauded like CPS school principal. So
wow.
Yeah, very interesting. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna run schools for real.
Do you remind him of his bullying days?
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, every time when I see Chance, I like to humble him and say, hey, you know who you used to be. And then he was like, yeah, Kev. I'm like, all right, cool. Just making sure.
Just so we're straight. We're good.
Right. I remember.
I know you and
right.
what you did. Yeah.
You know what? And the funny thing, and Cam kind of talked about it earlier about being eccentric. Back in the day, like when we were younger, being an eccentric black kid was absolutely a no. You couldn't be different. Yeah. We had to be all the same. Honestly, it's like if you weren't the same. And the thing is, growing up, out in Schaumburg, Illinois, being like I got to call the token black kid. It wasn't as bad. Like my friend actually told in a group chat when we watched the TO thing, he was like, man, the black girls in school would call us lame and stuff all the time for not smoking, not drinking, not doing drugs all the time. I'm like, really? I don't remember that. But then I remember that I really didn't pay attention to them. I just ignored them for, my time being in high school. But if you were in the black kids out in the suburbs were trying to hold on to being black. So they were trying to be so hard, so hood.
Right. I'm like, what they thought the idea of like being black out here. Yeah.
You grew up out here. What are you doing? What are you talking about?
Let's take a couple of comments. We have people who have responded to our question about the mean girls or the bullies. Janet Ferguson says, I was the bully. I grew up, realized it was wrong and hurtful.
Good for you, growth.
And Janet, did you do as Khameron and Med have said? Did you apologize to those people? Arthreda Wilson on Facebook says she's selling t-shirts in her latest money grab. Meatball has rolled out hoodies and t-shirts under the hashtag free meatball in black, pink, and red, which are up for sale for $45. Not in this lifetime. No.
The meatball lady. Got you.
Yeah, Meatball, who was videotaping the looting in Philadelphia. Trina Jackson on Facebook says there was a girl, I guess it's a girl, I think. named Jevin that bullied all the kids in the neighborhood. Oh, it was a
geez.
guy, GU guy.
Every guy, man.
He's deceased because he was an
Yikes.
addict. Ooh,
Yeah.
that's sad too. That's sad. That's
Very
very
sad.
sad. Kyra Harris on Facebook. Well, a boy
Really?
named Jason, he's dead, used to bully me in junior high, all because he spreaded
What
Spread what
happened
happened.
happened
between me
between
and
me and
him.
him?
Oh, that's
He
terrible.
told
Yeah.
whatever it
He was
was.
telling. Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
dead.
yeah. Long story short about my daughter,
This ain't
Michelle Lynn
short.
Summerall says on Facebook, my daughter was pushed around by a boy neighbor. She had been taking
Taking.
taekwondo. And one day when he pushed her down, she came running to me crying. I asked if she could block him. She had an aha moment. She went back out and he ran home crying after the next shove. I don't condone fighting, but I want her to protect herself. Hence Taekwondo. Yeah,
Got
taking
to. Yeah.
Taekwondo.
Definitely
Ooh.
needs that one standoff.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? We didn't have bullying so much, especially at Morgan Park Academy. There's a lot of teasing in my neighborhood too, because I
Mm.
was, living on the south side, but going to a predominantly white school. And so I'd come home and kids would talk about the way that I spoke and,
Yeah.
Yep.
and
Yeah.
all of this kind of stuff.
Hate to see
And
it.
taking a school bus to school and blah, blah, blah. And so that was teasing. I didn't take it as bullying. But it's some pretty heavy duty teasing.
Mm.
Why do you talk
And
white?
yeah, exactly.
Classic.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
classic line right there. I've gotten
Yep.
that my
Yep.
whole
Yep.
life.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
And then I had a woman told me that they were going to take my black card because I told a story on the Jordan show one time that my mother used to sing "You Are My Sunshine" to me every morning to wake me up. She said no black child is awakened by a song like that. I was like, oh, okay.
Hey,
She said you're not
Sybil,
black and your mama's not black either. I was like, oh, okay, all right, nice talking.
Sybil,
Sounds like
I've
trauma to
heard
me.
this before. My friend said, because I was telling him I was getting, I make Blake breakfast every morning. He's like, black kids don't get breakfast every morning. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's
Yeah.
like, no, everybody's leaving at the same time. Go get a Pop-Tart and be on your way, or eat breakfast at school. I'm
Yeah,
like,
get to school on time. Yeah.
always
Yeah.
had breakfast in the morning. I've
Yeah,
never,
all of these things that we had that other people
I
so
didn't know.
you're not black person
You're
if you
not
don't do
black if
this.
you have breakfast in the morning. I was
Oh,
like,
this
really?
is a
Yeah.
hot
Wow.
topic. This is something we're going to have to return to. And
Really?
yeah, this is very interesting to me too. So thank you for participating, guys. And to those bullies out there, your time will come. So
A lot of them are dead.
okay.
Yeah, they are.
Let's talk trending topics. Med, how was the weekend with the podcasting?
Whoo, boy. It was a great event. I learned a lot just from working with my friend Anna Agogo. She of Black Pod Festival and Black Pod Collective. Her story of how she created this and how she has become a leader in the podcasting industry, especially among Black podcasters. She put together a very good event, and I'm not gonna lie. I helped, I assisted, but this woman was a one-woman show because she did everything. We ended up having a great turnout, and people really enjoyed themselves. Shout out to Anthony O'Neill, who was great. Patrice Washington, she was great in their fireside chat, and they really inspired a lot of people.
Nice.
That's
Good for
great.
you. Very good.
Yeah.
And Khameron, how's the doc coming?
Doc's coming pretty well. I've booked some interviews with some leaders in urban studies and transportation justice, just to speak on what happens to a people when public transit is not safe. What happens to a people who have to carry that with them every day. So I'm looking forward to talking with them. Professor Dave Stovall, giant in the industry, and just has cranked out a lot of books on just how Black people move through cities, and why we need to have the same just like safe space entitlements as everybody else.
Great. And remind people the name of your documentary.
Oh, it's called Coronary Artery. It's about one man's quest to get a job on the Red Line, and he gets trapped there by the spirits of the recent dead, who don't want him to advance.
I like seeing the background pictures on your website or on your social media with the group of people that you had working on the movie. It gave you a real insider's view.
Yeah, it was an all female crew. I was very intentional about just giving women that leadership opportunity in film. Women are really just out here doing it in entertainment, as Med can tell you currently. And if you want to check out the film and check out some clips, you can go to whoiskam.net. That's whoiskam.net.
Very good, and keep up the good work there. So, Khameron, as we mentioned, coming on today, we have a new Speaker of the House.
Yeah.
They were leading up to this, and it finally came to a head. Two votes taken. One was to table the motion regarding finding or getting rid of the Speaker of the House. They voted not to table, and they voted to move forward in voting in regarding the future of the former House Speaker, Kevin McCarthy. The bane of his existence is Matt Gaetz, the conservative Florida congressman. And one of the reasons that McCarthy got his job was because of an agreement that it would only take one person to submit a motion to remove McCarthy from the speakership. That was it. It would just take one person, and that one person was Matt Gaetz.
You knew it was going to be him, right?
Yeah.
You knew it was going to be him.
Oh,
he was
for sure.
Yeah.
He was just laying in the cut. And, I guess he claims that it was the disgraceful attention that was given to the disgraceful way that the country was kept moving, and that no shutdown occurred, and the money that went into as they're trying to balance a budget, and the agreement that he made with the president several months ago. All of these things, and nothing being done about the border, and and he didn't mention nothing being done for Ukraine either. But he just used a 1, 2, 3, and another thing kind of deal. And it was really interesting, Khameron, because they were given time to speak, one for and one against, going back and forth between the sides as to voting for McCarthy to keep his job and those voting for him to get kicked out. And so it started out a number of them talking about why he should and why he should not. And then after a while, it was interesting because Matt Gaetz would kind of give commentary every time someone spoke in support of Kevin McCarthy. He's like, but he was not speaking from the Republican side. He was speaking from the Democratic side. He couldn't even stand in front of his Republican caucus members and make these comments and close out because nobody likes Matt Gaetz, and that's what everybody is saying.
And this is what confused. I'm like, I think like this is gonna backfire on him. Like, because anyone that's going to run against him in Florida is going to say he wanted to shut down the government. Matt Gaetz, everybody else wanted to move forward except for Matt Gaetz. He's gonna be out. He's gonna be out next election, and that's what I believe. And it's just a dumb move because. And here's my other thing. Here's my question because I do not know this. Was this like a one-time get out of jail free card, or will the next person who gets the speaker, gets the gavel? Will they have this? They have to deal with this as well? Because my thinking is
they're smart. They won't.
They won't. And so my thing is, did you play this right, or did you just want to show, or did you just want to have a moment?
Right.
You just wanted to flex, yeah.
I mean, but the flex doesn't help because you're doing this at a time when they need to work together to get this thing. They have 45 days, and you created chaos while we're trying to fix this. So again, I've preached this every single time I'm on here that these folks don't care about you.
Right.
They do not care about us. They're here about themselves only. And when you vote for these people, you're not voting for a person, you're voting for a party. And now that these parties are split, you really don't even know who you're voting for anymore. You don't even know what you're voting for anymore.
So really, two things regarding that. The Democrats were lockstep. They were all voting as one. Not one Democrat, walked over and said, okay, you can have my vote. And the reason why, because they lent their support to the Speaker of the House, to Kevin McCarthy, on Saturday for the continuing resolution to keep the government running. And then he turned right back around and gave them no props. Didn't say anything about bipartisanship, didn't say anything. We couldn't have gotten this done without the Democrats, nothing. And then when it came down today, some of his lieutenants went to the Democrats and said, McCarthy could really use your help. And they're like, well, where was he Saturday when you did give him our help? And now, crickets from him. And he did not come and lower himself to ask the Democrats for their support today. The second thing is, and I think I just forgot what. There was a congressman who got up and spoke against McCarthy, or spoke for McCarthy in support of keeping him. And he said, right now I'm getting text from some of these same people who are going to vote against Kevin McCarthy. And it says, and the text says, text, send me money, text, send me money, text, send me money. So they were saying, what they were saying in their text to their constituents is, look what I'm doing. I'm standing up for you, and I need you to support me. I need you to send me money as we continue to fight against McCarthy. You're not fighting against McCarthy. You're fighting against yourselves.
Us.
Yeah. Wow. That's just so rife with corruption.
Yeah, very much so. And it's so Donald Trump-like, because, for every indictment that Donald Trump does, they're doing this to me again. And you got to, send me money. Don't believe the indictments. Who are you going to believe, them or send me money. And so that is, it's now in their playbook.
Yeah. Wow. I do have to give props to Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries.
Really beautifully done.
Yeah, who didn't bail McCarthy out, but then also just keeping the Democratic Congress people.
It's a thing of beauty.
In line.
He has learned well at the seat of Nancy Pelosi, because Nancy Pelosi was able to keep a very slim majority when she was Speaker of the House, and didn't allow them to all kind of bickering and infighting and all of that kind of stuff that you found within the Republican Party with Kevin McCarthy. He was willing to make a deal with the devil so that he could become what he'd always wanted to be, and that's Speaker of the House. And now that devil came back to bite him.
It takes a lot. It just takes a lot of leadership to just keep, even just like the most left of the Democratic Congress people, the AOC +3, just to keep them, in the supportive bloc. But then also like that kind of foresight that he had, where people were thinking, hey, if the Republicans do pass something, it's going to go to the Democratic Senate. But Hakeem was like, no, nothing's going to leave the House. We got this. Just stay cool. Republicans are going to sink themselves.
And we just keep our eyes on the prize. And I promise you, if we all stick through this and stick together, that we're going to be a better party for it. And they've shown that, as opposed to years past, that we can stay, as one. And with a Democratic Senate, we can make some things happen. But it's going to be interesting to see how these people play the re-election game next year when they are up for re-election.
I do want to say something to Mr. Donald Thompson, who's in the comments.
Yes.
He's saying that Gates was fighting for, not spending so much money and spend. Just going off of what I've seen from Matt Gaetz, I don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? I really don't believe he's doing it for
I don't think he reads America. Any of the bills.
I don't exactly. I don't believe that. Do I believe that there is an issue with the border? Yes. Do I believe? Yes. Do I have a little bit of an issue with the money they're sending to Ukraine? Yes, because I really do want to know, what is this money for? You know what I'm saying? How is it helping you guys? Because this is I understand what they're. I get it. We don't want Russia, but I'm like, what? I've always had a feeling that whenever America gives a lot of money to certain countries for wartime efforts, it always comes back to bite us in the butt. So it's like, it's always concerning about that. So I get all of that, and that needs to be worked out. But guess what? This was not a permanent solution. It was a 45-day holdover.
Right.
And doing this now will probably make things worse moving forward. So I don't think any of us are going to get what we want from this, because now we have to deal with who's going to be the guy with the gavel or the woman with the gavel now.
And Matt Gaetz can say this, that he is about, keeping the funds low, the funding of the government low, and taking away and stripping some things. You can say that all you want. But when it comes to Matt Gaetz, He doesn't give a damn about the people or the country and spending money. He
was going to cut Meals on Wheels. My granddad uses Meals on Wheels.
all of these things that we're going to be taken away, especially as they affect Black people, Matt Gaetz doesn't give a damn.
Yeah.
He can say it and he can put it out there, but when push comes to shove, he is going to be for Matt Gaetz. He doesn't care about this country. And he doesn't care about doing the right thing for the collective country.
Right. Yeah.
I know that you're in it for the people that you represent, but as far as the collective is concerned, it doesn't see it. Let me move to one more story. The judge overseeing the civil trial accusing Donald Trump and his company of fraud imposed a gag order because Donald Trump went on his Truth Social website, posted a picture of the judge's clerk of the court, and she was in a picture with Chuck Schumer, who is the majority leader of the Democratic Senate. And he claimed he intimated a relationship between these two. And it couldn't have been further from the truth. And he told him, you take it down and you take it down now. And Donald Trump, go ahead.
I'm confused because, the lawyers, I guess, messed up and are not doing a jury trial. So everything in this fraud case is basically on the judge.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you poking the bear?
Because he doesn't care. He has no common sense.
I've always said that Donald Trump will never get, hit with anything except for this. I think he's going to have to take it. this trial right here, he's done whatever the consequences are for this, he's going to get, and it's going to be bad. Whatever it is, I don't know what the consequences are for this fraud. I don't know if it's, just kind of like,
well, the $250 million in penalties and losing your license to do business.
I don't think it's because it's not jail time, right? It's just business stuff. He's gonna get hit. He's gonna get hit. He's gonna lose licenses. It's gonna hit his bottom line.
But it's gonna get even harder now because he's pissed off the judge, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Poking the bear.
He said it's so unfair that I don't get a jury. Talk to your lawyers.
Who decided that?
They didn't check the box.
Okay.
Check the box.
Check the box, indeed. Guys, let's move to entertainment. And talking about money can be entertaining, and especially when you're a billionaire. Michael Jordan is now worth $3 billion. For the B.
Okay.
And he ranks among Forbes' richest 400 people, marking the first time a professional athlete has joined the ranks of the richest Americans. That's according to Forbes magazine, who put him on the list. He's been a billionaire since 2014. He catapulted into the Forbes 400 list this year following the sale of the Charlotte Hornets for $3 billion.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, what did he acquire or anything?
No. Because he bought the majority years ago, but he bought
2010.
He bought it. He didn't. Yeah, he made a nice little profit off of that sale.
Because Khameron, he bought the team or bought his part of it for $275 million,
and sold it for
$3 billion.
Okay.
He's one of only 3 professional athletes to build wealth valued at over $1 billion. The other 2, do you know?
Other 2 who? Athletes
or billionaire athletes? Yeah.
LeBron is one.
Yes.
Okay. I was going to say LeBron.
I'm trying to think. Is Tiger Woods another?
Yep. He's the
Tiger Woods is a billionaire?
Yeah, he's a billionaire. I thought Magic would be on that list, but
I thought so too.
Yeah, but not so much. So congratulations, Michael. Hope your wife is very happy that you all are spending that money well. I hope so. And maybe shoot a little to the ex-wife. I know she got a lot, but she could do.
Juanita's all right. Okay.
I'm always looking out for the sisters. I just want to make sure that they're okay.
Juanita is okay.
Did you hear me, Sybil Wilkes? I said.
Don't worry about it. If there's one wife, ex-wife, you don't ever have to worry about it. It's Juanita Jordan. Man.
Okay, all right. Just a little, because you were there in the beginning. Oh, never mind.
Hey,
Okay. It wasn't as if they were high school sweethearts or anything. I know.
She made off like a bandit. She did all right.
She did.
Ooh,
And
did
I
good.
think she still has the record for that, doesn't she?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Absolutely.
But she can still use just a little bit.
No more. You don't need no more. You're okay. Oh no.
Ned, it's not your money.
I know it's not, but good Lord. I'm wondering if the new wife is like, you know what? I can. He's made more money since he left you.
Okay. Wow. I wonder what that prenup looks like.
Man.
Let's close out. Let's close out with Yogi's jewel today. A single act of compassion can resonate far beyond the moment. It could be life-changing. We've been talking about bullies. We've been talking about what happened in the United States House of Representatives today. One single act of compassion can resonate far beyond the moment, and it can make it life-changing. So thank you guys for changing the volume and the temperature of things today. Appreciate you, Khameron.
No problem.
And Big Med, we will see you both next week. Hopefully, Damon will come out from playing outside and join us. But in the meantime, everybody go out and have fun and be good to each other. Aloha.
I'm not a hater.